We are back. We are here at the Pratt Emergency Center at Beaufort Memorial Hospital. Ashley, nice to meet you.
You too. Thank
Say
you.
your last name.
Hildreth.
Hildreth. And Kevin Creamer, good to see you.
Good morning.
They are the director and associate director of this incredible center. The emergency department, when I walked in, I know, I flipped. As a doctorate in supportive and facilitative design, the first thing I noticed about the emergency department was the flow. And I would love to chat with you, since we have you captive, a little bit about the design, because I think it's imperative in health and wellness that it is easy to navigate a center like this. Talk to us a little bit about how the design came about and why it's so important.
Yes, when we had the opportunity to design and build a new emergency department, we did a lot of research and visited a lot of folks that were well known for their patient flow. We had a group of ER staff, the direct care staff, that worked with the architects through the entire project and came up with this amazing design to facilitate flow, and it has proven to work fabulously.
For you, why is it so important? Why should we care about the flow and design of the emergency department?
So it was very important, after talking to the patients and looking at a lot of national statistics, to make sure that the flow matched the time factors that we have. The emergency department is very much so based on timestamps and getting you in to see the doctor as quickly as we can, and then getting you back out and home as quickly as we can as well.
Can you talk to me about kind of levels of care? And again, it all goes to the design piece of it. I know when we walked in, you've got triage and you've got different levels of care. How do you determine
correct.
what does that look like for a patient, as from my patient experience?
So we have specially trained nurses to greet the patients when they come in.
Okay.
There's a kiosk where the patient enters some basic information. It puts them right into our system, so they're immediately available to place orders and start treatments and documentation on. That specially trained nurse does a very quick, methodical assessment to determine the level of illness of that patient and where in the emergency department they need to be.
And then what happens? And so let's assume that I've got a child who's got a rash, or we laughed before, I came to the emergency once when my cockatoo bit me. Or, you know, I didn't need a stretcher at that point.
Sure.
How is all that determined? And then what is the flow?
So one of the things they do is, as the nurses with that training decide which level the patient needs, they also determine which part of the ER they can go to. So we have kind of a split flow model.
Okay.
Those patients who walk in who maybe do not need a stretcher have a special part of the emergency room that we can take them to, so that they get that quick care. So kind of your urgent, emergent care, your walk-in wounded.
Okay.
Quick things that we can do over on one side of the ER. If they're sicker and need a stretcher, then we have stretchered beds. We have all those stretchered beds also have monitors. So those are the availability for the patients who need to be monitored remotely from the monitoring station at the nurse's desk.
One of the things that you said that you both are really proud of is oftentimes someone comes directly in straight to bed.
Absolutely.
Yes. So our goal is to get the patient in front of the physician as quickly as possible. Those are statistics that are measured nationally, but it's just the right thing to do.
Exactly.
When you look at our statistics online compared to other hospitals in the region, we see the most volume with the shortest time, and all of that is because
Huge.
partially because of the design, but also with the training, and we have an amazing group of people working here.
One of the things that I noticed is there seems to be sort of a central core where you all are, and then everything is built around the periphery, which it seems to be really makes a lot of sense from a visual point of view.
Absolutely. So it was important for us to have the availability of both the physicians and the nurses to kind of see 360 around with what's going on. We also mapped where things would go to make it easier flow, less steps for the nurses, quicker access to the patients, glass doors for our sicker patients, so that as the nurse is charting, she can look into the room, very similar to what you would see in a critical care unit.
You know, it's interesting with the holidays kind of rapidly approaching. Do different seasons produce different folks who come? So what I'm really asking is, can you talk a bit about the demographics, and then with the holiday season, special things that you might see?
Yeah, so this time of year, we tend to see a lot of people with flu and upper respiratory type of illnesses. That tends to be the majority of what we see, as opposed to the summertime, where they're minor injuries and
Right. Stepped
things
on a
related to being
stingray, yeah.
outdoors and yes, all the activities that are available in the area. For the holidays,
Yeah.
we do see people with chronic health problems that overindulge and
Okay.
don't quite follow their normal regimen that end up here in the emergency department. And then there's also some minor injuries there as folks get together and have bonfires, fry turkeys, and those types of things. We see some minor injuries from those.
I never.
We also like to remind our patients and their family members that as they have new family members coming in who may have medications with them, to make sure that they secure those. So you've got everybody over at Grandma's house, and her medications that she may have brought with her may not be secured. So we like to remind everyone to just make sure that you have unfamiliar, uncharted territory there with children who may be running around and not used to having medications there. So just little things to remind everybody
Well,
to be safe.
and in our last 30 or 40 seconds, what do I need to bring to make my experience easier for myself and for you when I come to the emergency room?
We would really like it if you could bring your medications with you. If you're unable to bring that medication, a list of those medications with you, and just knowledge about what you're allergic to.
Okay.
Family members' contact information so that we can keep in constant contact with them. It's really important for us that you get, kind of family-centered care where your family's involved in this process as well.
Yeah, I saw wonderful spaces for families to come, so it really makes a lot of sense. I have been dying to see this. It's amazing. I tell you, it is absolutely worth coming to at least visit the emergency department just to check it out. It's kind of like a dry run. It's a fire drill.
Absolutely.
If you ever. I know that sounds silly, but it really
We give tours
is.
on a weekly basis to
Do you
people
really?
who just want that second assurance that it's here, and where do they park, and where can their family stay. Anytime, we're here.
That's right.
Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Girl Talk. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye now. For more information about the Beaufort Memorial Pratt Emergency Center or to check in online, go to beaufortmemorial.org.